Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the DominateDominion tournament number 87. This game is going to be Amputease versus Everglade tree lovers. What the... Guys, whatever. Do it. The chat bans this game will be updated on the screen shortly here. There we go. Whoosh. Zip on over here. Turn the summoner hoo-ha back on. There we go. Alright. One of these two teams here, it's actually one of my favorite teams to commentate. Amputease and we saw earlier WoWX's RP Farm, sometimes referred to as Cheese Enema, are my two favorite teams to commentate, so it's very nice to be able to see them back-to-back today. See WoWX's team playing first, see an Amputease playing in this game here. And get these chat bans filled in for you. And the first chat ban was Kha'Zix. The second chat ban was Nidalee. The third chat ban was Wukong. And the fourth chat ban was Taric. Taric's still getting banned. Awesome. That means he's still good. He's not quite the Lord of the Harvest, though, that he was last couple of weeks. Had a small reduction in power. But there you are. Chat ban's shown on the screen there. Kassadin, Zyra, Lulu, Brand, Jayce, Teemo. Cast, Zyra, Lulu, Jayce, Teemo, all pretty standard bans. And it's the first pick. Looks like it might be Maokai. That's probably going to be locked in because Maokai is one of the better tanks in this game mode. Maokai and Jarvan, I believe, are the two most picked characters, I'd say, as tanky, disrupty kind of guys. So we'll see if they do decide to lock that in. He brings an airborne, a snare to the table, and the damage reduction that he can bring in team fights is intense. It's really difficult to unseat a Maokai from a point. And it looks like 2-1, and they are going to lock that in. So it looks like they're going to take that Maokai. Are we going to see somebody playing J4 this game? J4 versus Mao. Probably the combo that happens the most. That's a guess anyway. Don't quote me on that. Let's see. So 4 p.m. Eastern in Arizona time is... I don't actually know. Looks like we're going to see Leona being highlighted here. Followed up with Kayle once again. Kayle, pretty solid champion. We saw in the last game. Kayle was effective in the couple engagements that Kayle got into. Kayle did a lot of damage. Kayle has Reckoning. Kayle has an ultimate. Kayle. Kayle is also the name of a vegetable. Realistically, though, Kayle is a ranged AD carry that can hit everybody on your team, plus with stacking armor and MR, Shred makes her extremely dangerous in team fights. The longer the fight goes on, the more people who she's able to weaken with her passive. And Leona is an extremely powerful dive, especially with the recent change to Eclipse, which adds an armor and MR ratio to her abilities. Or to her when she uses Eclipse, excuse me, not to her abilities. Oh man, that'd be crazy. Can you imagine if everything she had armor and MR ratios? Whoa, it'd be really powerful. But no, Eclipse gives her additional armor and MR based off of the armor and MR that she has. It's amazing. She's a really good dive if you have high enough CDR for her to be able to keep hitting that button. She becomes a raid boss is how we refer to her. She also brings good crowd control of the table, and if you are stacking that CDR to keep that Eclipse up, she's going to be machine gunning out stuns. Absolute hassle to deal with. We're going to see Ezreal and Jarvan. Jarvan and Mao on the same team. Usually one team picks up Mao or something like that first pick, the other team ends up taking the other one. We see them on both teams occasionally, which is what's going to happen here. He has a very solid airboard, slow, and he spawns terrain. I mean, Ezreal, talked about Ezreal last game. Ezreal Arcane Shift, very good engage or escape mechanism. You never know quite where Ezreal's going to go when he has that off cooldown, but you know exactly what he's capable of. But even better than that, in some cases, is his global map presence, because he has True Shot Barrage, he's able to reach across the map and break up captures and contribute to team fights on top of that. Some of these new icons for these summoner spells, I'm not completely sold on. So you might see Urgot and Vi. Urgot at one point was the most OP pick you could get. And he's still very strong. Top lane or bottom lane, Urgot can go either way. Seeing dual power picking up though makes me think it's going to be top lane. And seeing Strogan on Vi. Vi has an armor reduction. It's a good thing to bring to the table. And Urgot's passive is very good. Like, it's really good. Minus 15% damage dealt while you're hit by anything that Urgot has. If he splashes that around, man, it's brutal. But are we going to see that Urgot top or bottom, though? No, Noob V3 is their bottom laner. It still has yet to pick. It's possible we will see that be traded down there. Seeing Karma and Ziggs locked in. Oh, no, we're going to see Noob V3 Morg bottom, potentially, it looks like. And see dual power up top. Take Your Pill picking up Karma, Snide Sentinel picking up Ziggs for the team. I think we're going to see Take Your Pill get Maokai. I just have a feeling that that's going to happen. Maybe because historically the amount of picks that he's had in Dominate Dominion competition, he's had like 90% of the time he's got Maokai. And we'll see if Noob V3 is going to lock that in. Be pretty cool to see a Morgana. She's a character that we don't see too happen. She's a character that we don't see too happen. English is failing me. Obviously, I should switch to Swedish. And looks like we're going to see that Morg locked in. Are there going to be any trades? Yep, Take Your Pill, Maokai. Who could have seen that coming? And Science is going to be playing Vi. See Strogan on Leona. The Strogan also plays Rammus, so he's a pretty tanky guy. Likes to play those kind of characters. Ziggs is a spammy git. He drives me insane. Just saying. Be able to pull these summoner spell blockers off in just a moment. And see what people are picking up. Then we can play Let's Highlight another new icon on the stream. Ta-da! Look at the spells here. We're seeing Flash on Morgana. Morgana is a pretty slow champion. Flash, very, very useful on her. We're seeing Ignites. We're seeing a Barrier on Urgot, which is interesting. And we are also seeing a... Is that a Clairvoyance? What is that, even? What is a Clairvoyance? Dat new Clairvoyance icon. New Clairvoyance, ladies and gentlemen. I guess they're going for like a third eye, kind of, with the art there. But that's kind of cool looking. I like it. The smaller, like, it's a much sharper color than it was before. Maybe that's, like, darker or something like that. I think I like this icon a lot more than I like the old one. I don't like the Flash one very much, though. That one's weird. Barrier, though, they've made a change to Barrier as well. Barrier, as you can see, being used here on Dual Powers Urgot. also has a nice new icon. Take a look at that. Now this makes Barrier look like a really good spell. Look at that spell, man. I mean, man, there's like a laser beam hitting him or something like that, and he's just throwing up a shield. He just doesn't care. Like, stop. No, you may not laser beam me. This makes Barrier look like the best spell in the game. I would way rather take this than anything else. If you were just going based off of icons, I want Barrier every freaking time. Like, look, that's like stop in the name of... It just... Look at that. There's a laser beam hitting it. And he just doesn't care. He's like, nope, I'm right here underneath it. Unfortunately, in reality, laser beam would just cut right through that and you die anyway, because Barrier's very, very short duration. But that guy right there has absolutely no fear, because he has Barrier. And Ignite has changed too, as well, recently. Part of the other things that have happened in the patch changes. Ignite is a bit of a darker color than it used to be. It's pretty cool, I think. I think they're better at splash art than they are at icons and other things like that. But there you go. Did see them in nice giant size. Look at the two comps. I don't have any more time to talk about them because I screwed around and talked about the summoner spell icons a lot. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do the scene transition correctly. Go over to here. Okay, cool. So this next game of the tournament is going to be Everglade Tree Lovers versus Amputease. Amputease, a long-time Dominion competitive team. One of my favorite teams to commentate games of. I'm very happy to be able to see them back here again. We have Everglade Tree Lovers' team. Afro Dynasty playing as Karma, Beast919 playing as Ezreal, Forgot the Icing playing as Jarvan IV, Take Your Pill playing as Maokai, and Snide Sentinel playing as Ziggs. On the other team, on Amputease's team, we have Science playing as Vi, Metal Fenrir playing as Kayle, Strogan McHawk playing as Leona, Dual Power playing as Urgot, and Noob V3 playing as Morgana. My name is Gandair. Look at these two teams. I'd have to give the comp advantage to... I don't know who I'd give the comp advantage to. I'd say up top on Everglades' team, they are a little bit short on damage. Well, if they have a Maokai, they could afford to go a little bit more damaging and a little bit less tanky with their J4. So that's probably what would happen there in that instance. I don't know who's going to be in bottom lane. It could be Mao, J4, Ziggs, Karma. It could basically be anyone except for Ezreal. And since I don't immediately recognize all the players over there except for Afro and Take Your Pill, I'm not entirely sure what to expect from them. On the other side, we're going to see Noob V3 bottom Morgana because that's just what his Morgana does. Well, that's just what Noob V3 does in general. Vi, will you stop with the dance dance? Stop with the dance dance. Thank you, Vi. Doing it again. Too many poses. See, I knew V3 can go down there. Like, Dual Power's trying to fake me out. Everybody wants to fake me out. Let's all go bother to make the caster commentate about that. That's great. So, with the shred from Kayle and Vi, people are not going to have armor, and Dual Power should basically be able to do all of the damage. Also, with Leona, they have a lot of crowd control going on as well. Without Leona, they don't have a damn thing going for them for crowd control. Vi's crowd control is mediocre. Everyone loves to say, well, Vi has a punchy punch and a slam dunk, and that's just not solid enough crowd control. I'm sorry. Now, Urgot has a suppress, and it's quite good. But it does have the downside of putting him in the middle of the enemy team, which is generally a place you don't want your Urgot to be. So we're going to see Ziggs and Morg against each other, which I think that's a matchup that favors Morg a little bit because Black Shield means she doesn't care about that minefield at all. As to her not connecting from dual power there, putting some hurt on Karma right away. J4 sticks his head out, gets shot for his troubles though, but a little bit of that shield going on is going to mitigate some of that damage. Fight going on below the point. Afro Dynasty is going to be the first one to fall. Immediately pops that revive and is on his way back to the top. Karma is a pretty quick moving champion as well. Should be able to get up here shortly. Strogan and Science see those health potions chugging away on pretty much everyone. Oh dear, the Acid Hunter from dual power did not connect. Golden Age is not going to save you, J4. Afro Dynasty is back. Ezreal picks up the kill against Kayle. Kayle reviving. Should be here shortly. Dual power is going to hit that revive. Yes, took a couple seconds, but sure, he's on it. There's Science with the punchy punch. Kayle picks up, or Kayle, not Kayle on the way back still. Should be able to help clean some of this up. We'll see how it goes though. They do have the capture due to minions. Kayle dives through, is able to get the interrupt on Take Your Pills. Mao swings on icing as well. Does get pulled neutral though. Afro Dynasty is going to sit there and channel a lot. Twisted Advance is going to keep Kayle back. Very, very scrappy engagement up here at the top part of the map so far. Kayle's going to try to punch through, but Kayle isn't in the fight. So they're going to lose a lot of damage out because of that. And dual power getting beaten up as well. And Strogan is going to fall back. Now Strogan doesn't have any allies. He has to wait around for them. Oh, that Cataclysm. Very unfortunate for him to be caught there. Zenith Blades out through Afro Dynasty. Begins retreating. True Shot Barrage does not connect, but J4 is able to pick that up anyway. Take Your Pill pushing in against the Drill. Is going to get that neutral. They're going to sweep up here for that. They can get the interrupt on it. But the minions, how far are the minions going to push this up? Are they going to be able to get the full capture? It's going to be very, very close. They get it, just barely. The defender's advantage now going in favor of Maokai's team. There's that Vengeful Maelstrom on the point, and you don't want to fight against Maokai on a point if you can avoid it. And unfortunately, they don't have the option for avoiding it here. Metal Fenrir is going to be taken down by Karma. And once again, Strogan alive, but his damage-dealing friends are not. Which is a position you don't want to find yourself in as a tank. Solar Flare gets thrown down, good stun. Let's dual power do a little bit of damage, but Take Your Pill had that under control. There's the Assault and Battery into Karma. Takes an exhaust immediately after Karma is able to deliver it from the suppress. Beast is going to take down Vi. And Strogan's going to get sniped out by Afro Dynasty. Where did they find these guys? Amputease has been a very solid competing team for a very long time in Dominion history. Easily 60 plus events they've competed in. And they've been absolutely beaten up in the first few minutes of this game. Take Your Pill, Mao, and Afro Dynasty are veterans of competition, but their names don't immediately jump out at me. They have received their drill back. They have been able to regroup. They've lost about 100 Nexus health in those exchanges, though, which is... You don't want to have that. It can be okay. There's still plenty of room for them to come back. But that was an absolutely awful opening to this game. CV going down shows them exactly what's going on. Ziggs knows it, backs off. And everyone else on the team knows it as well. Maokai's trying to secure the Storm Shield. Is anyone going to dare to interrupt? Science coming around, forgot the Kha'Zix J4, Twisted Advance follows the Zenith Blade, and Science is going to get gunned down by Ezreal. Afro Dynasty coming around from the top is barely able to survive. There's the position reverse suppress. Forget the icing is going to be taken down by Kayle, and Fenrir's invulnerability only helps for so long before he is defeated. Now Strogan being beaten up. Does stick his head out for a stun. And Noob V3 is the only one left alive. Once again, Amputease losing an engagement. Ezreal and Karma, man, they've been packing the damage. Both the bottom laners heading back down. Is that spell immune from Morgana's Black Shield? It's one of the most annoying abilities in the game to deal with as an opponent. Because it's like, hey, I have a cool idea for some crowd control that Morg just doesn't care at all. And then she throws Dark Bindings into minions because she has to help clear them. The Ziggs' wave clears, it's pretty nice. It's very respectable. Look, he made a donut. He's throwing water balloons. We're in a drought, Ziggs. That's not very friendly of you. Top part of the map. Looks like Kale's going to stick his head out into the vision, let people know where he is. They have the positioning advantage here by having control of this center bush. That's going to let them get a little bit of a forewarning, but J4 is going to back off. Coming down, swinging around from the bottom, Science in the bush. Strogan sticks his head out, leading the charge forward, as the tank should do. J4 is just going to dash on away from that. Now all of their team is out in vision. Amputease in the jungle has the jungle control there. If they make a play for the drill, they're going to peel people off from the top to come down and respond, and they'll be able to pit the fight much more on their terms they'd be able to otherwise. Strogan going for the channel. J4 is going to interrupt it, take a bunch of damage in the process. No, actually, a lot less damage than I expected he would. Solar Flare on Ezreal, and there is the Assault and Battery. Vi absolutely determined there. Arcane Shift still on cooldown for a little while, but that snare is going to keep Vi back. Dual Power, can he pick it up? No. His abilities are going to fall short. Things not going so well for our heroes, Amputease. Urgot, the only one left alive at the top part of the map. Noob V3 retreating up around. He and Ziggs getting into some disagreements. And Urgot's going to go for the recall. Down about 200 Nexus health now. Unfortunate position to be in. Can you see KDA? Well, yes, 69 in. You may. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate it. If I as a caster miss something, go ahead and call me out on it, because it means that I'm bad at my job, and people deserve to know. Once again, positioning advantage still in favor of Everglade tree lovers. Down the bottom, looks like they're going for a gank in on Ziggs. Looks like Kayle is going to be taken down very, very easily. Bottom part of the map, though, Ziggs is able to get back away from Leona and get an interrupt going on her as well. True Shot Barrage comes down, but doesn't connect with anyone, unfortunately. That was meant to interrupt Leona, and would have if she was still there. Now, does Ziggs have his Inferno Bomb? No. Just a couple seconds away from having it. Ooh, Ducky! Is going to be able to pick up that kill against Leona. And with Leona and Vi being down there in the bottom lane, they weren't up here to help out Kayle and Urgot. Kayle was picked up. Urgot was still alive for a little while before he was picked off as well. Down about 300 health. Amputease is in some trouble, unfortunately. But they are up against a team that has a really solid comp for keeping that Ezreal alive. And ooh, take your pill, sticking his head out to go for that sapling interrupt against Kayle. Not sure how I feel about that. His health does get pretty low. Throws down the Maelstrom, though. That's going to give him a little bit more sustainability. That sap magic, too, helping to keep him up just a tad. Finally taken down. Afro Dynasty looks like is going to fall, but Ezreal now showing up at the fight is going to help turn things around. Kayle, great save, but got stuck around just a little bit too long. Was tagged by J4's line effect damage there. And Strogan is the only one left alive. They're doing a very, very good job of killing their way around Leona. Leona doesn't bring enough crowd control to necessarily stop all of the sources of damage that are going on. She's the only one with some solid CC on the team. Urgot only has his in the ultimate, but that also stops him from doing damage during that time. And you want someone to be crowd controlled in a method that lets Urgot continue delivering that damage. So when he has to self-crowd control, self-CC, that doesn't really help him out very much. Stalking J4 up to the top, Solar Flare connects. And J4 not going to be able to escape. Tries to escape with standard J4 play, but not able to do so. Science takes some damage from that BFT, and is going to get taken down by Ezreal. Strogan falling back at low health, wants to contribute but can't risk getting in range of that fight. Is going to have to recall. Meanwhile, Kayle is defeated. Unfortunately for them, Noob V3 has managed to get control of this bottom point, is currently zoning Ziggs back away from it. If they can keep this up, it's going to buy them some time to get things going back up at the top of the map. Ezreal, though, coming down, is going to have something to say about that. Goes in with that Arcane Shift. Ooh, Morgana with the flash! Going to die before her ult can activate, unfortunately. With Ezreal in the bottom part of the map, and him not having his True Shot Barrage available, he can't be part of this fight up here. 4-person dive against 2 looks good on paper, but Maokai exists. And with that Vengeful Maelstrom, there's a few seconds left on it, but with the threat of him being able to pop that up, you don't want to deal with that if you can avoid it. So moving down to the middle part of the map, that gives time for Ezreal to get back involved with the fight. Karma as well, since they didn't go for that quick dive up at the windmill for that 4v2. And they're close enough to the bottom lane that Ziggs is able to get up here and get involved as well. And the Noob V3 can either come up and contribute to the fight, or he can go across and go for the tower and force a response. But if he does that, he is up against an Ezreal, and Ezreal can True Shot Barrage interrupt from the team fight and keep it a pretty safe 5v4 if Morg tries to stay down there. Looks like that is what Noob is going to do, is stay in the lower part of the map. Everyone else moving up further to the top, which means it's a lot more uncomfortable for the bottom laner to try to get up there and get into one of those imbalanced engagements. Strogan sticking his hat out first. Connects with Karma. Solar Flare on Karma. And Karma is able to get back, get some distance. Still contributing to the fight. They want to collide with her and take her down, but since the initial burst was not enough to kill her, she was able to get back, start safely doing her damage from distance, and clean things up. With the revives, plays coming back out again now that they're off cooldown. Science and Strogan on their way towards the center of the map. They're going to circle around behind. Looks like they're going to get tangled up with J4 first. Take Your Pill's going to go for the drill, but Kale's appearance is going to chase him away. If Kayle gets in range for a Reckoning, we may see Take Your Pill's Mao go down. Oh, the Twisted Advance to the minion! Science was able to keep up, though, with a dash of his own, and they're going to force them back to the tower. Ezreal on the wrong side of the map. 4v3 engagement. Vengeful Maelstrom is down. They're going to go for the dive anyway. How is this going to play out for them? Take Your Pill alive for quite a while. Afro Dynasty's throwing down the damage above. Oh, but there's the position swap and the stun combo on Karma. She's going to be taken down. Ezreal can't fight this on his own. There's the split dual power walking to the other side. That way a True Shot Barrage cannot interrupt all of them at once. And Ezreal not able to pick up that interrupt before the tower was captured. Amputease stops the clock at 49 Nexus health. They have the ability to turn this game around still, but it's going to be a substantial uphill battle with very little margin for error. And you see that Ezreal is 12-3 in this game so far. Bottom part of the map. Sentinel throws down that CV up for his allies on the up on the speed shrine here to see whether his enemies are coming or not. Looks like he threw it up top for a moment, but he threw it down to the bottom. And Noob V3 is going to back off. Standing in vision. Cataclysm thrown down over by the speed shrine. Amazing, amazing, amazing positioning for Ezreal. You could not get a more perfect engagement than that. Cataclysm in the entire enemy team. Ezreal gets to just gun all of them down. That's going to be the drill pretty much for free. Take Your Pill able to collide with dual power. Take Your Pill's CC is pretty solid. Dual power getting beaten up. There's that Vengeful Maelstrom. Pops that. Does a little bit of damage. Picks up the kill against Urgot. Neutral point. Are they going to be able to get there in time? No, they can't. Drill is going to be captured. And that looks like it might be game for Amputease. Maokai is defeated. J4 appears, though. True Shot Barrage tags all 3 members of the team. See Science there activating that Youmuu's Ghostblade. Starting to swing away at J4, but J4 is just going to J4 on through that fight to their side, and J4 Leona into her grave. And this has been a really interesting game. Amputease has been one of my favorite teams. They did not have a very strong showing today, unfortunately. Everglades Tree Lovers absolutely beating them up all throughout. Ezreal finished that game 15-3. It's 5-1 KDR. That's just crazy. Such a good showing from Everglade Tree Lovers' team. Not that one. There you go. Yeah, that. Let's take a look at the little stats here. Damage dealt to champions. Ezreal out in front, 23k. And Graveyard Hero for this game. Is going to be Vi. 218. So we're going to throw to a commercial real quick, and we'll be right back with the next game of the tournament. Everglades, man. Great job, guys.